Hey, everybody. It's Dayna O'Gorman and Lisa Johnson, and we are here with another OurTurf Football podcast, Zoomcast. What do we call these now, Lisa? I guess they're Zoomcast, Videocast.
Zoomcast is kind of cool.
I know, Zoomcast. I think that's
Zoomcast.
fun. But so we wanted to talk about this schedule. Now, I know you've been on social media or you've been watching NFL Network. You're being drowned in the schedule and every little nuance of every little game and what this is going to mean and what that's going to mean. First of all, I want to say it's all a bunch of crap because we have no idea how any of these things are going to turn out. But I do want to talk about the fact that it was just nice. You know, we had the draft and now this schedule has come out. It almost seems normal sports world. It was kind of refreshing, wasn't it, Lisa?
It sure was. I mean, when you get talk of your timeline of football instead of what are we going to watch, the reruns. I mean,
Right.
It's nice watching football games from last year, but I mean, honestly, I was running out of things to watch. I mean, It got so bad. I was watching a soccer game. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, what?
Soccer, go Sporting. Yay. No, it's good. And you know what, though? I will say this, since you brought it up.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Soccer. You know, the nice thing is that MLS has started to allow the teams to have individual drills, which means the players can come in, they can get back into the facilities, they can do individual workouts, they can be individual on the field with one trainer. They bring them in at different times. But I have a friend, Brian, who he sits next to my husband and I at our sporting matches, and he said, "Oh my God, I've never been so excited to see Matt Beasler walk in a door." And really, isn't that it? Like, we were just so excited to see they were going to train, because what that means to me, at least, Lisa, is that we're making some progress, that there is a chance that there's going to be some of these things that, you know, we might actually get back. I think they're going to look very different, though, to be honest with you. And that's why I tweeted. This is what I got everybody a little mad about. So I didn't mean to make anyone mad. I was just trying to be realistic. I was like, you guys need to slow your roll. Quit planning which away games you're going to go to. Because let's be honest.
I've seen it.
People are jazzed. They're excited. But Lisa, I think there's a really good chance that this schedule still gets tweaked.
It's going to be interesting because we had that talk yesterday on Twitter with a couple fan base down here in Miami. One of the first things I think is going to go is tailgating. I think that you're really going to see, you know, that limited of people getting together. Another thing was questions about, like, how are you going to do that? I mean, Dolphins are talking about 15,000 in the stadium per game. Okay, who gets first dibs? Of course, season ticket holders.
And then it'll be a lottery, I guess?
You can't do season tickets, right? I mean, I'm sorry, single tickets. But yet I'm seeing on Twitter some of the teams are already announcing single game ticket sales.
Yeah.
So talk about slow your roll.
Right.
I mean, so it's kind of confusing at the same time, because here you have some of the teams tweeting out refund policies if it comes to this. But then today and tomorrow, we're getting single game tickets.
Mm-hmm. It is confusing, and I think that's one of the reasons why the NFL, the league, put out that email, that press release that said, "Listen, no one can come up with ideas." Miami Dolphins, who just shot out there, "Hey, we're going to space these people apart." And I think, like, slow down, because what's going to have to happen is it's going to have to be equal across the board. One team's not going to be able to do one thing, and another team's not going to be able to do another. It's going to have to be the same everywhere you go. And so in turn, then a lot of this hinges on California, because the governor of California, the mayor of LA, has already said absolutely no large gatherings until January of 21. Well, that's 2 teams in LA alone. And so now, granted, they might pull back from that. That's absolutely true. But at the same time, I think that's why the NFL put that out there. They said, listen, we have to wait and see what happens. And I think we all just need to be excited that at least they are confident enough to release a schedule that we might get all the games, maybe.
And let's be honest, there's some people that, I have a couple of friends that have season ticket holders that said they're not going. They're taking the year off. And no disrespect to them. It's,
I think it's smart.
What they believe in, it's what they want to do. They're worried. They want to see what happens in a year. And that's fine too.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree.
You're going to have to gauge yourself as a fan as well as us with the media. I mean, what's going to happen to us? I mean, I haven't heard anything. Are we?
A press box can't be held like normal. I mean, for those of who might, I'm sure everyone has seen a press box, and those of us who've been in them, you're packed together in a tiny little room.
Yeah.
That will not happen this year.
Yeah, it's not going to, I'm afraid so.
It's going to be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how this rolls. But at the same time, at least we have an idea. But Lisa, I have to say 2 things. First of all, the minute the schedules came out, the first thing Lisa did was text me and said, week 4, Seattle's coming to Miami. And I'm like, nice. Yes, we're going. Oh, jeez. No, I have to take my own advice. So hold on.
Right?
What happens? But I'm really hoping to go to Miami week 4. But at the same time, then what came out a couple days before is the fact that they canceled the international series. I have told you, Lisa, a lot of people knew we were planning on going back over to London for a game this year. There was a good chance Seattle was going to be playing, but I didn't even care. We just wanted to go see another game because we enjoyed it so much the last time we went. And that was heartbreaking for me because that completely changed our plans. And then those fans, for those of you who might not know, I do a podcast with 2 girls in the UK, Liz, who is in England, and Shona, who's in Scotland, and they're huge NFL fans. Liz gets the season tickets to their games, the 4 games that they have there. It's a huge, huge deal. And this killed them. And that breaks my heart because those fans were finally getting wrapped up in their teams. So that was kind of sad. But what it did was give Lisa's Miami Dolphins back-to-back games with the Jets.
Exactly. And that's kind of funny. But at least the bye is in between. I don't know why it's such a big thing. I mean, teams have played back-to-back before.
It just looks weird on the schedule.
It just does look weird, but, it's a divisional matchup, which is, important. At the same time, it's over the past couple years, when we first met, we had the conversation, I think it's been almost a decade now, of us talking about, because I was not a big fan of going overseas. I mean, I don't know if you remember that. I
do remember.
Really was adamant about, I want the teams to stay here. I mean, kind of selfish on my part. But as I got to know the fans over there and meet them through social media and stuff like that, it opened up a whole different vision for me, for them. And I was actually kind of upset with them, for them, as you were. And I never thought I would feel that way because I was always one of those ones that didn't want to go overseas, so I can kind of see now what they're feeling. And so, because now I feel bad. So
I do too, but it had to be done. It makes sense. And, I guess it'll just make, them all more excited for next year. Hopefully that will be better for them for next year. So, all right, well, let's go ahead and take a little bit of these schedules. Lisa, I want you to go ahead and do it. Just vent it out, sister. Just vent it out.
Honestly, you have to go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. When you look at their schedule.
Tampa Bay.
And I can't.
I can't either.
The first thing I did was even before I went to the Dolphins schedule, which I kind of already knew because, some of it already leaked out. So you kind of knew who. But 5 primetime games, I was expecting maybe 3. Just because, this is new. It's a new team. We're not sure how it's going to gel yet, how he's going to play, But then they added Gronk, which somebody said, that makes a huge difference. And I'm like, I never even thought about that. You're right, with the addition of Gronk. But 5, they play a maximum of, I think, 2 playoff teams from last year.
So
it's good to be the GOAT, I guess. It's good to be the GOAT.
And that's it. And if you ask me, the NFL has drawn the line. They took the Patriots dynasty, for lack of a better word, that hurts me a little bit to say. And when it split, they said, okay, now we get to pick sides. Are we going with mom or are we going with dad? Oh, we're going to go with mom in Tom Brady. Bill Belichick barely got 2 blinks for his Patriots. And during the show, he went on and they talked to him for him, but no one's talking about Belichick and the Patriots. Everyone's talking about Tampa Bay. And I can't decide if it's because they hope he fails or if they hope that he wins. I don't know. Here's the thing. Tampa Bay fans have already written in a Super Bowl. They are like, he's going to get his, this ring and he's going to get it with us and blah, blah, blah. Bruce Arians will finally get his ring. And I look at it this way. Remember the Browns. That's all I have to say. How many people were writing in the Browns, sorry, Kate, that they had added all these crazy weapons and Baker was doing so good and it was going to be amazing. And they fell flat on their face. You have to be careful with expectations. This is a new team. For him, he doesn't have the same coaching style. I'll just put it that way. And yes, he has some great, I've said this, I will put it on a poster. I love Mike Evans. I love Mike Evans. I want him in a blue and green uniform so bad. But at the same time, different styles. The NFC itself is different. No offense, Lisa, but Tom Brady's not going to be gifted 6 games every single year. And so he's going to have to fight, and it starts week 1 with the Saints.
It does. I mean, when you look at this schedule, and I was listening to some of the NFL analysis, and I went through it too to see, how can you not circle week 1? You're going to have Breeze and Brady right out of the gate. And I was like, that's exciting. But when you look at the Patriots 2 schedule, they also have 5 primetime games.
They do.
So
they do.
It's almost like you just said. It's like, okay, here's Team Brady, here's Team Belichick.
Mm-hmm.
You guys got 5 games each on prime time.
Yeah.
So
don't screw it up.
week 1, out the gate, Breeze and Brady. How can you not? And then it turns around in week 9, which could be a totally different game. We know how that is. Always between week 1 and then you go to week 9, 2 different games. We could be seeing 2 different styles. With Tom Brady, it always seems like, even when he was with the Patriots, it takes a couple of games because they always have constant rotation of some new people for him to get going with. So I look for a totally different game from week 1 to week 9. But how fun are we going to get a good idea of how Tom Brady is going to be with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? And how that division's
going to set up, for sure.
Exactly.
Lisa, you and I always say every single year, as long as we've been doing podcasts, and you're right, almost a decade now that we've been doing this, we always say teams don't really know who they are till after week 4. It's 5 and 6 where you really start to see them. So those first 4 weeks, that's like, some teams just are slow out the gate. Others take off like a rocket, and then they slow down as, things add up. So you're right. I think it'll be 2 very different games. But let's talk about the very first game of this season, and that is going to be the reigning Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Houston Texans. I think this is mean. I think that they penciled this in with it's about Watson and Mahomes, completely ignoring the fact that the Texans have destroyed and dismantled their team. This is not going to be a good game, Lisa.
No, I don't think so. I was the first thing they talked about exactly was coming out. No Hopkins is now in Arizona. Mm-hmm. You almost feel bad. I mean, as far as everybody's like, if I'm Watson, I want out. I'm going to ask for a trade. So you're going to see what the Houston Texans are about. The first game, going against the Super Bowl reigning champions, who are just as fired up. Mahomes is just as fired up to repeat as he was to win it. So
this town already thinks they've won it too. Let me tell you, I love it. I love off-season fans because
you're a champion until you get beaten, I guess. So
exactly. Who would have been a better starter, do you think, for the Chiefs? I don't. Do they play the Patriots this year? I think that they do.
They do.
Maybe that would have been a good one. But then again, we don't know what we're getting from the Patriots. That's going to be brand new. Maybe a division game. I don't know. I don't know.
And they were going to start out I thought they were actually going to start out division games. I kind of thought I had read a couple of people, some pretty reputable sources saying that the NFL planned to start off with division games, which some did. I mean, we are. Yeah. So
I think the reasoning behind that, though, and there was a couple of great articles put out today. One might have been by Sports Illustrated. I should have bookmarked them. I'm sorry, and so I could share them. But about the reasoning behind the schedule, and the way they did it is to fit in flexibility. And so I think that they didn't really want to do a ton of division games the first couple of weeks in case they had to push back.
Yeah, but
which makes sense.
How to me is start the Chiefs off with the Ravens.
Do they play the Ravens this year?
I mean, how that would have been a great matchup to me. At least a bit more sexy than the Texans.
It would have been more competitive. I mean, I just feel like the Texans are just not there. They're just not. They're not.
That's kind of what I see as far as scheduling goes. I'd start them off with the Ravens.
Right, something that a good competitor that would be good. A couple of other good games in that first week. Let's see. So the Packers-Vikings game should be real good, I'm hoping. according to Lucy, who wrote our Packers article today, the Packers are winning almost every game. And she's all about it, which I love that excitement from her. But the Vikings should be pretty good, especially if they don't have to play in front of fans, which is what Kirk Cousins prefers, apparently. So, but I think that'll be good. I think the Browns and Ravens game, we're going to be able to see a lot of what the Browns have turned into in the off season. And then the Cowboys and Rams, I love that they're opening that beautiful stadium in Los Angeles with the Cowboys and the Rams.
Big draw.
From a marketing standpoint, it's brilliant, because what do Cowboys fans do? They travel. And so if away fans are allowed in, which I still think they're going to take season ticket holders and do a lottery, I really do. But is a great way to start that out. I think that that's going to be an interesting game, and it'll get people really fired up. And we'll get to see that new fantastic stadium. So I'm pretty excited about that too. I was looking, Lisa, at there's lots of commentary. And like I said, people have been picking apart these schedules and what this means and what that means. And to be honest with you, it's been said also many times that you have no idea, because your starting quarterback could get hurt in the first play of the first game. So we have no idea how teams are going to be and how they're going to play. But they do the ease of schedule. How fair is it that the Baltimore Ravens have the easiest schedule in the NFL?
Me. Honestly, I went to December. Games are won in December. Yeah. You have a different playoff situation this year. We have addition of two teams. So expand that out a little bit. Go to the Baltimore Ravens schedule. That's all you have to do. You go to the Baltimore Ravens schedule. This is their schedule in December. Browns, Jaguars, Giants, and Bengals. Their biggest challenge is week 3 against the Chiefs. Week 3 against the Chiefs. And then, I think they play the Patriots, they play the Steelers. But that December schedule for the Ravens, it's like I said, we don't know. This is
true.
It can happen by December. Yeah, we could see totally two different teams the first couple of weeks to December, but games have to be won in December. And when you look at your schedule and you look at the strengths of the team of what you're playing, the only team that I see right now that would be maybe the Browns,
depending on what happens
with Baker Mayfield and their new coaching staff and stuff.
Yeah, so that could be real interesting.
It should be real interesting.
I did read something, though, Lisa, that I kind of agree with, that the expanded playoff system, which, I was not for. I don't like that at all. But the expanded playoff system actually makes these earlier games more important, because there are no throwaway games, because everyone is going to be in the mix toward the end because of those couple of other spots. And so I think that that's real interesting, but without question, every football fan knows how you play November and December is how you carry that over into the playoffs. And so we'll get more playoffs, which is annoying. I hate, but it is what it is. So I don't know. So Lisa, you are our Dolphins writer. You write on about a couple of different divisions, but you are our Dolphins writer. So how do you feel about their schedule this year?
I like the schedule. I kind of, like I said, the back-to-back Jet thing was kind of fun. It was interesting to see what they were going to do when they announced that the England game was going to be canceled, how they were going to fit that in. I kind of thought the same thing. They'd fit it in between the bye. I wasn't expecting back-to-back games, but I kind of expected something close. AFC East-wise, when you look at the Miami Dolphins and this schedule, it benefits them as far as rebuilding. You have a couple tough games. In division games are always tough to me. It's this AFC East rivals. When you look at the loss of Tom Brady, certainly you have to think that benefits the Dolphins. But at the same time, welcome back to primetime Buffalo Bills. Right.
Yes.
So, and good for them. They deserve it. I mean, when you look at the way this schedule is coming out, and you look at the Miami Dolphins, we're in a rebuilding year. Everybody knows that.
Yeah,
we're going to have, we're going to have Ryan Fitzpatrick starting. Don't know what they're going to do with Tua yet. It's still, you're hearing hot and cold, to sit them, play them. You know me. You take quarterback in the first round. I want him on the field, but hindsight, his injury, you're still putting some players into some spots. So
For you, as chaos as the beginning of the Dolphin season was last year, when you guys were chucking players out the window left and right, cleaning house, whatever.
Yeah.
Flores did not care, and I loved it. We talked about how much we liked that so much, and so this year you got the players you wanted. Now you got to see what you can do with them. And so when I was talking with you earlier during the draft, it really comes down to what happens in 21 and 22 for you guys. This isn't necessarily about this, although you never know. You guys could take off. But I think you're right. If you look at that
realistically,
the Bills are looking pretty.
Exactly. They got continuity going on, players coming back, the addition of Stephon Diggs with Josh Allen. So this is going to be their year, and I think the NFL recognized that and rewarded them with some good primetime games. And I expect the Buffalo Bills to make some noise, just like their fans do. Josh Allen still is a big question mark for me, so it always has been. I like the kid.
Just a little hit or miss. Yeah.
Right. So, the addition of Diggs will help, but the AFC is I think you're going to see a whole different picture with the AFC. I really do. So,
and we said this when Brady went to Tampa Bay. It's like the NFC is a different beast. And so we're going to see what he has, and nothing against the AFC. It's just two different types of football, if you ask me. And so it'll be interesting to see how he does there, but it'll be interesting to see who rises up. And if it's Belichick again, I swear to God, put a crown on his head and stick him in the hall himself, because
we'll have our answer.
I know.
You'll have the answer of who exactly built that dynasty. You have to have a quarterback, an elite quarterback. I think that really helps. So it's going to be interesting, because right now during the draft, the Patriots selected 0 quarterbacks. 0.
I still can't get over that. Well, let me see. In the divisions that I write for the NFC West and the AFC West. The NFC West, I know that they call the NFC North the black and blue division, but I really think that title needs to be switched over to the NFC West this year. I think that all 4 of those teams are going to beat the ever-loving crap out of each other, and it's going to be real fun to watch. I think as long as they're, again, caveat, no injuries. But I think that Arizona, they found their replacement for Larry Fitzgerald. Not that you could ever replace Larry Fitzgerald because he is a man among men. But DeAndre Hopkins is who that is. I think Larry will finally be okay with retiring because they have someone else there. But we're really going to see what Kyler Murray can do this year. I think the kid is good. What the question mark is their head coach, Cliff Kingsbury. So I think that we'll have to see what happens there. I still think there's a lot of holes in that team, but they'll be better, I think. The Rams are real grumpy about what happened to them last season, and it was their own fault and their own doing. And then they managed to have a good draft. Hopefully they'll come around and things will get rolling for them again. However, their question mark, also really important, Jared Goff. And so we have to kind of see what happens there. Seattle is Seattle. They have Russell Wilson. They have their wide receivers. They've gotten their pieces on defense. It's the same game from Pete Carroll. Nothing ever changes for that. Thank God. So, and so they will be good as long as Russell Wilson is quarterback. We always say they'll hopefully make
you build around him, and that's they're very good about that. Right. And one of the things that you talk about Seattle, they draft for a year to 2 years out. They still always do.
Yep, they do. If you look at, and then of course the 49ers, who are the reigning NFC champions, and who I think learned a good lesson in the Super Bowl, and that's no disrespect to them in any way, shape, or form, because they got there and they played fantastic ball last year. But we all watched what happened in that fourth quarter, and they got a little cocky and they thought they'd win the game, and they were celebrating, and they got out their heads a little bit and they lost. And you cannot do that with the caliber, the way people that, when you get to the Super Bowl, the caliber of teams that are there. Right. And so I hope that's a good lesson for them. I think from the sounds of it, it was. But if you look at the NFC West schedule, it gets real ugly. San Francisco and Seattle played each other last week. And the week before that, the Rams and Seattle play each other. The games for Arizona and Seattle are in the middle of the week. or in the middle of the season week, sorry. And so they do that a lot, where they put those heavy hitters at the end of the division. And when the NFL does that, I think they really do that because they know that the division could be decided by a single game, much like it was last year.
And so this could be that last game.
Yeah. And so it's made for great television, right? And that's what we're here for. AFC West, I mentioned before, I was really impressed with what the Broncos did in the draft. Do I think they're Chiefs level? No, but I think that they are definitely closer. The Chiefs still look really good. The Chargers, what the hell are the Chargers going to do, Lisa?
Well, they're going to bring along Justin Herbert. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to kind of get him into
Tyrod
play
will
there.
Start. I still think Tyrod. I know how you feel about it. It doesn't change the logic. At least give him half a season to sit behind Tyrod and learn a little something. But you never know.
Two different style quarterbacks, though. That's the thing that throws me when you got a Justin Herbert who can drop back and read, read defenses, coachable to read defenses, and then you have a Tyrod Taylor. I'm just kind of struggling. Two different quarterbacks. I mean, two different cadences, two different styles of holding your blocks. I mean, if you're a lineman, you better make sure you do your job, hold your block with Herbert, because he's going to stand in the pocket a little bit. Tyrod's going to pull it down and run. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. To me, with them, that's a big question mark of quarterback. Which quarterback is going to come out the gate? And I will go with you. I think Taylor is going to start, but you're going to find it hard pressed. Everybody who knows that Taylor knows he's going to play 100%. He's just not going to play a couple games and say, okay, here you go, kid.
It's not going to hand it over.
It's not going to happen with him. So.
Right. Well, I'm looking at the Chargers schedule right now. They start off against the Bengals, and so that'll be an interesting. We'll see how that goes. It shouldn't be. It'll be a nice game for the Chargers.
It should be Herbert against Burrows to me.
It
but
won't be though.
I know it won't be, but you know me.
But then it's not pretty after that. They have the Saints, they have the Raiders, and they have the Falcons, and then the Chiefs. And that's I'm sorry. I was looking at the schedule the wrong direction. So they start out with the Bengals. I was going, they went across. Everyone else goes down, and the Chargers went across. So they have the Bengals, and then the Chiefs, and the Panthers, and then Tampa Bay. So it's not pretty either way. And so they have a lot. And then their last game of the season is against the Chiefs again. And so it's just a long road. I cannot wait to see the Raiders play in Vegas. I'm so excited that the Seahawks are playing them in preseason, so we get a little inkling of what Gruden is going to do. I don't think we're going to recognize this team at all. I think that Mariota's going to end up starting. We're all going to be confused, and then they might switch him out.
Gotta be confused.
To screw with people. Like, it's just going to be weird. I don't know, but with John Gruden in the league, it's kind of fun, so I don't mind so very much. And then the Chiefs are the ones to beat, without question.
There's no question. No question. No question.
Yeah. Lisa, here's a question for you. Do you really think the way the schedule lines up really does impact a team? Because you'll see some coaches say, like on their interviews last night, they're like, nope, we take it one game at a time. It doesn't matter when we have to play them, as long as we have to, because we're going to have to play them all at some point. Others say it has more to do with the travel situation than it actually does the team that they're playing. How much impact do you think the way the schedule is laid out really matters, other than those division games at the end, if you think the division's going to be close?
I think it matters to the fans more. Okay. Being around Coach Flores the last couple years with him, I see a whole different – I'm trying to think of the word it's you take the fan out of it and you watch this man coach. I don't think it matters to him who they play, when they play. They play, you get a game plan, you execute it, and you do your job. That's the way he is. And I expect every coach is that way. Mike Tomlin, I get that from him. I don't think he cares if he's on the road the last two games. It's all about that team. It's all about that game plan. It's all about winning. I think the stretch is more so on team equipment managers, travel. I think that's more of the people who stress, and the fans, because we're like, I don't want to be on the road. I don't want to be on the road 2 games in December.
You're not leaving your couch. Sit down.
So I think the fans take it. But when you sit in these press conferences with these coaches, honestly, Dayna, I don't think they care. I really don't. They'll take the schedule how it is and just deal with it.
I think you're right. It might have been, it wasn't McVay. It might have been McVay. Oh, I can't remember. I can't remember what they said. They said that the only time it really matters is the cold weather games. So if you're in Lambeau in December, and then you have to game plan week to week. So even that doesn't matter so much because you have to see, okay, who got hurt, who's limited, who's not.
Right.
Okay, then this is what I have this week. Okay, now next week. And then the bye week. The bye week factors in greatly. And that is probably something. I know when they interviewed Pete Carroll, he said there's 2 things or 3 things that he looks at: the first game, the last game, and bye week, or something along. Oh no, he said it was preseason because he thought he was going to get to go play in Vegas and he was real excited about that or something. But really it was who you play the first week, who you play the last week, and when your bye week is. That's all they care about because they have other things. And so I think that, who you're playing matters more necessarily than when you're playing. I agree with that. So
yeah, and like I said, and what's funny is when you see these coaches and at the press conferences before games and after games, you always hear them say, "Well, we had a good week of practice." They gauge those games on practices. It's so funny is that every single one of those guys, well, we had a great week of practice. Well, I thought they practiced well. That is always in the press and the post press conferences is, how did this guy do? Or, how did Brady do? Well, he had a great week of practice. so I don't think they care.
Brady thing's going to kill me, Lisa.
5 games. 5.
And it's not even, it's easy to hate on Tom Brady because he's a winner. And so, he doesn't care if we don't like him or not. And the fact that Gronk came back, stay in the WWE is all I can say about that. But, I do worry because I do think Tom Brady obviously is one of the greatest football players that has ever played the game without question. But I worry that I don't think he'll fall on his face, but maybe he won't meet the expectation. And then, people are so nasty. I don't know. We'll see.
The problem is, though, is when you look at that schedule, it's besides, like you said, the Saints, it's going to be hard for them to fail.
Yeah. We'll see. We shall see. All right, Lisa. Well,
all right.
I'm excited about this schedule. I don't think it's going to stay the way it is, but I'm excited about it at least. So hopefully, maybe I will come and visit you in Miami week 4.
I hope so. Like I said, hopefully, everybody stays safe, drive these numbers down, and we can, get back to
get on with things.
On with things. Exactly.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you everyone for checking us out and listening in, and we will probably be back. Well, I was going to say OTAs, but I don't even know when that's going to be. I don't know. We'll let you know, and we'll let you know. We'll come on back. Thanks for joining in, everybody. See you later.